Good morning and happy Monday. So, we are back with another daily doji. Actually, it looks a little more bearish since I did my charting. As we are coming into market open. So, last night we gapped down and we filled some of that gap before heading down, but we never came back up for that high. So, I have a few scenarios on how today could play out. Obviously, I'm not going to guess if we're going to be bullish or bearish. However, the volume that we had at these highs have been pretty low. So if you want me to take a guess, I feel like we're going to go lower. It's possible that we could come up and fill that gap before heading lower, or we'll leave that gap to come back for this one. We're a lot closer to it on ES. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for market open, see what kind of liquidity we take or the strength of buy or sell, and then we can decide. But look, we've got a doji, and we really came up, swept all that liquidity just to have very low volume with the bulls. So we could take a look at our 4-hour. This is our move from Friday, and we really came down. This was our open, and as you can see, pretty low volume for our bulls. Now, after taking this low here, we had a bit of a push up, but I'm really not too sure if we're going to go higher or lower. Market open will tell us. So down to the 15, this is where I mark out my liquidity as I look at the 15-minute chart. So gap above, we made a high at London, and then we made a low, and then we came up for that high, and we've kind of just been going higher. So same here. We don't have much SMT. The only SMT that I can see here is we made a pre-market high. On NQ we swept it, but we just came right up to it on ES. So that 905 level, if we can look on Bookmap, we can see that we do have a pretty big block of orders there. So down to our 5-minute, just to see how price moves. Last night, actually, I was not trading, but I was watching the charts, because when we make a gap, I find that if we gap at the Asia Open, that what we'll do, well, depending on how big the gap is, we'll come up for a little bit of it, and then we'll really head down. So I took a couple trades. Where was it? Just with my practice account, I really didn't want to. Every time I take a trade outside of market open with my evals, and I make an error, then I feel kind of bad about myself. So I try to stick to my plan and only trade market open. But last night I took a short here, and then on Bookmap we had huge volume, just like this, a really big order. But you could see that that white line was over to the edge of this volume node. So we really had a lot of algo sitting there. What we had done was we came down to this low, which was actually our Asia Open low. And then we went straight up for that volume. And I saw as we took that volume, we ate it with a really big buy bubble. And that was my key to go down. So one thing I learned this weekend about Bookmap, and it was actually contrary to what I believed, was that, or what I had witnessed, was that when we come up and we take one of these liquidities and we've got a huge buy bubble, that normally signals exhaustion. So what we want to do is we want to see what happens when we come to that liquidity. If we get a really big bubble and then we have some wicks, look, a big wick, and then we have a wick, that's our signal to go the other way. And that's what I did. I took a short. Where did I take the short? Yeah, right here. Right here, I got in, and then I held down pretty low. I forget where my TP was, but it looks like it hit somewhere overnight. for 150. So not bad. I really do like those gaps. I find that there's a lot of resistance there. So as we touch into it, we generally want to go the other way. So it's very good confirmation for a trade. Let's see if we can get some volume here. So we have some pretty nice session liquidity. We got a low, we got the Asia kill zone, we have a pre-market high, a pre-market low. So once we break out of these, we can really see the direction. Are we going to take it with a big wick, or are we going to take it and close above it? We'll see. So as we look here, we can see that our Asia kill zone really aligns with that big liquidity there. We don't have much other liquidity on Bookmap. There's really no heat below. We have a little bit above, but I'm not concerned about that. I don't really think it's an algo. We just got a couple orders here, so we might come fill it, want to go down. This too, we might fill it, want to go down, and then go from there. So then looking at NQ, we do have some orders above. So 310 here. We have some orders printing, and I can see that that white line is closer to the edge on those orders, but it's not big. We've got like 32 orders, 38 orders, so maybe 10 within that volume node is an algo. I'm not sure. So we'll just have to wait and see. On Friday, as you all know, I broke my rules. What rule did I break? I traded past 11 because I had a really tough trade where it came 75 cents away from my take profit. And instead of closing the trade and taking the profit that I had, I held it back to break even, which really annoyed me. So I decided that that was my last move for the day, so I'm going to blow the account. I blew it. That's fine. The rebill actually hasn't come in yet, so I'm still waiting on that. But this account here, I was down 1,200, and I took a short with 5 micros, and I walked away. I had my stop above VWAP, and I came back about 30 minutes later, and we were $1,200 in profit. So I closed that, and now I've got this account back to break even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy trade both accounts and go from there. But today I'm just trading this one. So my goal is, as you can see, follow all my rules. So full size, I will be using my full size, which is 3 micros. I find that when I'm in drawdown, it's much harder to stick to my rules and to have a good mindset because you're already below. You're not ahead. So you start to think a little more desperate. I need to get back to my break even, and then I can make profits. Because when you're in the red, then any profits that's below your red doesn't seem like enough. And what I struggled with the most is taking my profits and taking what's given to me. I always want more. And I find that I'm moving my TP because I'm like, oh, it's going to go higher, it's going to go higher, it's going to go, or it's going to go lower, it's going to go lower. And then I miss out on all my profits. And that's been one of my really big struggles. So on Friday, my TP was just below here. But on Bookmap, we had orders like 75 cents away. And I should have put my TP right where those Bookmap orders were, but I had it just 3 ticks above, and I lost out on all of that. So good lesson. I'm finding that my trades are winning, and that I'm doing a very good job selecting my trades, picking only one trade. Just my issue has been my size. So with a smaller size, I want more ticks. But this week, going to be very disciplined, focus on those 3 micros, and take our profits at liquidity. And from there, we will enjoy success together. So now we can see that that our volume's starting to come in. Okay, wow, really huge
Stop
volume.
NQ buy. Stop NQ
Market
buy.
open.
Sweep ES buyers.
So we're coming up. We haven't hit this yet. It's above. It's here. I spent a long time talking with ChatGPT about the way that
Sweep ES buyers.
About the way that bookmap works. So right here, as we've taken liquidity and we have that really big bubble, we could start to see some buying exhaustion. However, from my data, I do see that my best trades or my best winning trades do happen around or after 10 a.m. So I am just going to hold strong today. So look, we came up, we took it with big buy volume, but look, I'm seeing absorption here. Are we going for that gap? Could be. I should ask ChatGPT about this. I'll just take a screenshot. All right, so NQ is really breaking through. NQ wants to fill that gap. So this is my gap here. Where's my text? Perfect gap. Asia kill zone. So we bursted through all of those liquidities in just one candle. And here's my gap here.
Stop ES buy. Stop ES buy.
Asia kill zone. So we might be getting actually ready to take a trade once it hits this gap. Oh, I knew what I was going to do this weekend. I was going to set this up so it didn't move around. All right, we'll just put it right here. It's okay, so NQ's taking the gap. We're really just going to wait to see what ES does, because we could have a really nice short setup here. Whoa, 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 whoa. The long that does not stop. Just only buy bubbles. Okay, so ES so close to filling that. Still about 2 minutes here until we make our 5-minute box. So let's just watch and see what happens.
Absorption NQ sellers.
Look at that candle. Crazy. Okay, now ES has filled it. So on NQ I'm not seeing any sellers on Bookmap. But on ES it's kind of peppered in, so we've got buyers, sellers, sellers. And this absorption here, which seemed to have been pretty important. This is really where you could take a sell, but I don't have enough confirmations and we're only 4 minutes into market open, so. And if we take a look, we didn't actually do that yet, but if we take a look at the CVD, we do have SMT, so ES is very green, which means that people are going long, whereas NQ is pretty red. So on our a smaller time frame, it's red, but on our larger time frame, it's green. But as we look both on ES, it's both pretty green. So let's just wait to see what happens. Okay, we have our first 5 minute. Pretty big area here. But generally after we make the 5 minute, we do like to reverse. That's what I've noticed. However, that was quite the strong push up. Okay, so now we're building liquidity. Excuse me. So we're building liquidity here. I can see the volume nodes. It just looks like people's orders, not an institutional one. The lines are really closer to the left. So not ready to take any type of trade yet. We're going to wait until 10. We can see if we actually... So first thing I'm noticing is we've made a lot of fair value gaps, which is actually really good. Really good for us. We could form this 5 minute one here. We still got 4 minutes to that, so I'm not worried about it. But let's see. We got a bunch of 1 minutes. We've got two 2 minutes. We already have a 3 minute. So price is looking pretty good. Another thing I actually did not check is if we have news today. But generally, there's not much news on a Monday. What do we got? Oh, 10 a.m. Okay, good job. Manufacturing. We have Powell speaking later. So we do have quite the amount of news this week at 10. Okay, now we're in consolidation. Although the orders up here are much bigger than the orders down there. So look, as you can see, we had this liquidity here. We took it with this big buy bubble. But as we took it, so 905, we bursted right through. We didn't really get a big wick like we saw last night.
NQ buyers.
Which kind of tells me that all of this absorption really served to keep the move going versus serving to pull us down. So now what we've done is we've tapped into that 2 minute fair value gap and are moving higher. However, I only like the 5 minute fair value gaps before 10.
NQ buyers. Stop NQ buy.
So NQ is breaking out of that 5 minute range. Going up for that liquidity that I had marked out from Friday that we never took. Now, let's see what he has.
Iceberg NQ sell. Absorption NQ
Fill
sellers.
that gap. So now we could use the gap as support to go up. And really on NQ, I am seeing very big green bubbles. I'll take a look at our 5 minutes. So yeah, look, we tapped in, we filled that gap, and then we tapped in, and we're going up. We haven't closed below it. NQ just went straight through it. So we do have SMT. NQ is really breaking above that 5 minute open where ES is struggling. We have news in about 20 minutes, so I'm not too worried about taking a trade. Just gonna wait for the market to settle down and then find a trade which works within my rules. Okay, so as we come up now to these resting orders here, We'll watch how the market reacts. Okay, we formed another 5-minute candle, so let's take a look at that. So really strong close above. Not too good of a close above. But if we are going to go up, then we have to look for liquidity. But I feel like what we got, really, we have a swing low here, and then we have that level there. So, 1 second. Let's just chart out our 5-minute fair value gaps. So we've got a huge one here, and we actually burst through all of our levels. But I might want to use them as support, so I'm going to keep them there. We'll chart out my 5-minute fair value gap, though. See how we react to that. Already starting to get a reaction. However, we could wait until that constant encroachment area. Because if the market does want these orders, we might just be pulling back to go there. And, oh, okay, so now on NQ, as we're coming down, we are forming liquidity at 450, 462, 475. So this could signal a trend up. Let's quickly take a look at where that 5-minute is here. That is friggin' huge. So yeah, we filled the gap. Let's see if we use it as support. Okay. This is pretty good. Let's just wait till our 15-minute is formed. Because look, these orders are starting to go away. 920 is just getting stronger. Okay, about 1 more minute until our 15 is formed. So ideally here, this is a pretty good entry for me. Is that we make that high, we come back to that we close above, we come back to that 5-minute fair value gap. And then we form a hammer, and then we move. And when price moves so fast, we could take it right away, but...
Iceberg ES buy. Iceberg ES buy.
But yeah, I really don't like going into trades before 10. 9:45. Was that news? I think that news is tomorrow, 9:45. Yellow folder. Okay, so now all this liquidity is gone. We just have this left. If you guys have been watching the 5-minute box, then the 5-minute opening range box that I marked, then you know that normally we come up, we come down. Usually when we form that high, we come down to the other side of the box. We don't really break out of it right away and keep going. However, that move was strong, so let's just see. There you go. Okay, so we formed our 15-minute range. And if we look at this candle, it's likely just LR all being taken. So let's just take a quick look here to the left. Yeah, so look, we took all that LR, and we came up just before that swing high. It's maybe more of a manipulation move. Let's see what time this was. Okay, so we have SMT. So NQ took that high from Friday afternoon. This really could be our move down. So I'm going to want to see this fill, come down, and then we can break out of the other side. However, we don't have much liquidity below. Let's see how that 5-minute closes. So I really do feel like now we can delete our
absorption and few buyers.
Just to keep our charts clean. Perfect. I'll keep this one for now. I will keep those for now. Yeah, a bit of a pullback if we really want to go down, but I'm more interested in seeing what happens here and what happens at 10 a.m. Because we could want to come down, fill the imbalance.
Sweep and few sellers. Absorption
Fill the
and few
imbalance
buyers.
and then go higher. Or we could just break right through this and want to go lower. Generally at market open, we do see manipulation. So if this is not manipulation, or if that move at open wasn't manipulation, then we're still going up and we've got some pretty good liquidity on NQ.
Absorption and few buyers.
Just above. So between here and here. About another minute until our next 5-minute is closed.
Stop and few sell.
But basically we're doing what we did on Friday, which is go up, take liquidity, go down.
Iceberg and few buy.
I'm still just waiting. Okay, a 5-minute close. A new one started. We didn't close below it, but now we're going to. So pretty big SMT. NQ hasn't filled that imbalance, but ES really is filling it. We still got about 9 minutes till news. So NQ still has that liquidity above, and we've got this, but as we come down and we're approaching, we are forming liquidity here, which aligns with our pre-market low. But really what I'm seeing is just no heat to the bottom. So let's take this and see if we get a little bit of a retracement to come back, and then we can enter. Although it's still kind of early.
Iceberg ES sell. Iceberg ES sell.
Okay, so about 2 seconds here on this candle. So we took this liquidity. Now what we can do is look for any type of fair value gap to enter. Well, we also have VWAP here, so we'll wait for that. So come back up. However, NQ is coming up to VWAP. So that could serve, if we're going down, it could serve to push us up. However, all the sellers were pretty strong up here.
Absorption NQ sellers.
I'm just waiting and watching.
Iceberg ES sell.
Pretty big iceberg. Price does look like it wants to go lower, but I don't want to get trapped here. About another 20 seconds until that 5-minute is formed. We'll see what kind of wick we have at this pre-market low. But if we're being honest, I'm looking to go down. So 5-minute, 5-minute. What do we got above? We have a 2-minute. So now we can delete this. 2-minute. That's about it for now. So what are we seeing? Coming down to VWAP here. Okay, watch how this candle closes. We're so close to news though. Come back up, touch the VWAP. Okay, still printing candles. We're in that 2 minute for value gap now. Just barely into it. Now we have a 3 minute plus our VWAP, so we have some pretty good confirmations to go lower. However, I'm not too interested until we see what happens with news, because it is red folder. Red folder. This is looking good, but I'm just gonna wait.
Stop ES sell.
It's fine if we miss it, because if we're going down, we don't always go down at just one candle. We will have a pullback, so we can get in on that down to that London low. But if we're really gonna dump, then who knows? We could be choppy now. See, look, we took all that LR. Very nice candle. About 2 minutes to news now. I have taken the trade setup just before news, because I do find that sometimes it happens, like here. And generally it's worked out, but not too interested in gambling on that. And this is what they call an engulfing candle. All right, 15 seconds till news. Wow.
Stop NQ sell. Stop ES
So
sell.
look, entry would have been here. Stop here. TP here. It's unlikely we're going to come back now for another retest, but as we break through this, then what we can do is use this on NQ to enter on ES on a pullback. Unless we just take London low now. Alright, there's the trade. See, it worked out.
Sweep ES fire.
We didn't even come back up. And now all that liquidity above on NQ is
Absorption
gone.
NQ sellers.
So let's see. Now we have a close below.
Absorption NQ buyers.
10 o'clock candle. We're hitting huge buy bubble at the bottom, so that could mean exhaustion. However, we are on the way down, so maybe it's buyers that are sitting there at that pre-market low.
Stop NQ buy.
Okay, now we're coming back up for it. So let's just take a quick look. What kind of fair value gaps do we have here? We got a 1. No 5. No 4. 2. 1. Okay, so as we not really my favorite setup. Let's just see what we want to do. Kind of had 2 big moves already. So coming back into that 1 on NQ. Gonna look for a sell here when if this candle closes as a hammer. And we can take that down to the London low. No, it's not going to close as a hammer. It's actually going to inverse that fair value gap. Well, we inversed it on the 1 minute. Let's see what the 2 minute looks like. No fair value gap. Are we really going to go up? So we inversed it. We didn't inverse it. Oh, we did. We inversed it on both. So I'm not seeing any A+ setups. This one wasn't bad. Right here, this candle to come down. But we were too close to news. Okay, so still retesting that inverse. It's down here. Still retesting. Oh, look, and now that we've gone down, all of those orders up there are gone. Okay, we're gonna go short here. Okay, gotta sell my 3. Uh-oh. it's gonna come all back on me in just 1 minute. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. Close. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, I actually got scared there. Let's just see. What's our profits like here? Oh, this was not smart, Samaya. No. Because this could have been a long or a short position. Wait till candle close. 15 seconds, 15 seconds. Heart racing, heart racing. Okay, so this candle closes a hammer, then we're gonna be good. Okay, pretty good. Oh, look. Dang. Dang, guys. Your girl not too smart. Ugh, fucking cunt. Look at all those algos there. I'm just gonna cancel it. Oh, that's annoying. Alright, so looking at the charts, not really looking at Bookmap. And I missed this coming in here right as I sent my order. So we inversed it. We tapped into the inverse. We made this here. That's a long, and I went short. So let's just see what happens.
Stop NQ buy. Iceberg NQ buy.
At least I canceled my order before it hit my full stop. But yeah, look at this. That is a long. If we build orders below price, that is a long. All right, let's just wait. Doji took that play a bit. I don't know if we had really any other fair value gaps here.
Absorption NQ buyers.
Got caught by spoofing. So let's see, this is pretty big algo order. Let's take a look at our fair value gaps. Not a whole lot. All right, might get ready to go short again, but I'm just gonna wait a minute. So we took liquidity, had a fair value gap, we inversed it, we retested the inverse, and I decided to go short. Oh, I did not take my notes.
Absorption ES buyers.
Okay, now we're coming down.
Sweep NQ sellers.
All right, Short. Okay, that's gone. So if this one doesn't work, then I am just going to be fucked for the day. So let's hold our stop here. So I went short because these orders are gone. As we came down, these orders came in, we pushed up. And I'm going to take my TP 870, so just below that London low. So let's just be smarter than we were on Friday. Okay, we're good. So we'll either see price come down or I'll be out for the day. And price is coming up. Great job, Samaya.
Stop ES5.
Oh, I just got it. That's not good. All in 1 second. It's all right. Let's just see how it holds here at this high. What am I seeing on Bookmap? I am seeing buyers. I guess you can see that the emotions are still coming into play. I remember when I first started recording myself trading that as I would go back and I would watch myself, like the emotions were just crazy. Always moving my stop to break even and never really getting anywhere. So even if we lose this one, that's okay. We can tap out for the day. Let's just see how this candle closes. We got about 25 seconds. While we're doing that, okay, we've got price here. So a price might want to come back up for this. 95. So the Bookmap orders are right where our stop is. And this could all just end in 1 second. Did come up. We took a little bit of that high. We're seeing SMT on NQ where this high was higher than this one. So let's just see what happens as we finish this candle. We're pretty in drawdown on this one. And it happened right away. So we will work on our notes as we watch, all of this. Notes. Don't seem to be working. Have it set up so you guys can see my notes. So if price wants this, then we're out for the day. But if price does go lower, then as you can see, we should be good. So I'd like to do my notes and show you guys. Oh, I think I know it. Haha. Oh. Can't seem to get my notes to work. Okay, and now look, now we're building this huge block here. So as we build this block, this could really push us down as orders come above price. But we'll see. It could also just burst right through, but as we saw here, that those orders really pushed price down. Oh, dang it. Exhaustion. We're getting those orders taken. We took it kind of with buy volume. My computer's lagging. All right. What are we going to do? It's really holding there. It's not really a big bubble. Oh, now those orders are gone. So, just give it a second.
Your productivity stack is actually slowing you down. Every new app adds more drag. So here's how I cut the noise.
So as you can see, we entered our trade. We went immediately into drawdown with a huge candle. I took this trade because so I went short and I missed Bookmap that we had these orders here. And just as I went short, the orders pushed us up. So then now what we have... So then what we did was we built these orders here. And then the price came up and took it. And now we're kind of just hovering around here. No, that's out for us. All right.
Top ES buy.
So huge, huge, huge buy bubble. Which could signal exhaustion. However, I feel more exhausted than the market after this one. So did we stick to our
Absorption ES
rules?
sellers.
Now it's going to go down. I don't know why I can't get the notes thing to work. I'm still gonna do my notes. And that is friggin' annoying. I'm not taking any trades right now. Let's just see how I can get you guys to see my notes. All right, I'll fill them out. So this was our second trade.
Top ES buy.
Okay, so we saw this on Bookmap disappear. So originally got in short here. Was it an A+ setup? I don't know. I think I broke my rules again. Kind of annoyed. How about you guys? Are you guys annoyed? I was having fun until that happened.
Stop ES buy.
No. Yes. Went short here. Missed book map. Orders piling. Orders piling.
Stop NQ buy.
Orders left. So I took another short and got fucked. Alright, there.
Stop NQ buy.
And now we are going long. Alright, so I have my notes done. It's kind of crazy how you can see that you can be in a trade that wins for 40 minutes, but you be in a trade that loses and you lose it all in 1 second. So I'm not really too worried about this account. I did hit 1250 on that account on Friday, so we're just a little bit back in drawdown, but so we are at 2 losses, which would clock me out for the day. And what can we see here if we're going to look back on our trades? What do we notice? Oh. What is going on? Oh, okay, so I did get it to work, but it just... weird. Still figuring out this whole OBS thing. Okay, so what did we notice? We noticed that we had a short bias. I had a short bias. We came up, we filled the gap like I thought, and then we went short. I wasn't too interested in taking a long and taking a short at the gap because of the strength that we had. And NQ closed way above and took another liquidity versus ES, which this was the top of the gap. We start to go down. If I had taken a short here, my stop loss would have been here and I would have got stopped out anyway. So it wasn't super clean. Yeah, this it was like right here. We closed above it on both. So what I was waiting for was my next setup, which is come outside the box, retrace, go down. However, this was right at news, and I wasn't too keen on getting in at news. However, as you can see, the play did play out. You could take your profits at this liquidity here on NQ, which would have been literally, you would have caught the bottom of the move once it hit that PML. So we swept liquidity. We took liquidity on both, actually. It seems like NQ liquidity is much stronger. And then as we come down, I'm looking for a continuation. I did notice that we formed this 1 minute here. We formed this 1 minute here after sweeping liquidity, and then we closed above it on both. So we inverse that fair value gap, and I'm watching as we tap into it, and as we tapped into it, I went short. Not very smart. The move there was inverse the fair value gap, tap in, and you could take it up to the next liquidity. But I just kept trying to short, so not very smart. We are down 240, which is bigger than I normally like to be down. I'm gonna have to rethink and see if I did follow my rules, because I can't really tell you. Well, thinking back, this was not an A plus. Like, this was an A plus setup. This was an A plus setup. Fill the gap, come down, break below, tap back in to, well, near the liquidity, but VWAP is pretty strong too. I like to use that as a confluence. So it looks like this is where we end our session today. Starting off Monday, not too bad. We lost our free account. We haven't started our other new account yet, so we'll come back to that tomorrow when it does get set up. It's not set up right now. I definitely do not want to walk away having a pretty big red day, especially on Monday. But if we are sticking to our rules and we're 2 losses and we clock out, then now is the time to clock out. I'm just going to sit here for a couple more minutes and deal with that. And as I'm watching, this could really be considered a pullback to go long. However, as we look at this taking liquidity, really big buy volume, this could signal exhaustion. However, we do have some iceberg orders coming in there. If I take another trade, I'm just going to end up losing. So I'm going to stick to my rules. I think today we're still 0 days without breaking a rule because I did not take A plus setups. But as you can see, I said this, I think it was Thursday, but my red days are when I miss a setup. So I miss my setup. And I was sitting here, I didn't say it to you guys, but I was sitting here thinking, oh, I really wanted to fill that gap and go short. And as I see us going short, I'm like, oh, that's annoying. Well, I can catch on to the next one. But as the next one happens, then we're in news. So then I'm struggling there because now I've missed 2 good setups. And every time I miss my setup, I end up with a red day. Do you guys feel the same? All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Gonna clock out now.